Now, how much time this has been? 5 hours, 25 minutes. I'm going to recap everything. Okay. I just want to remove this one. Okay. Okay, so let's recap everything that I found so far. Just going to bring this here. Always on top because I don't really need anything else. Okay. So, now I'm going to use a standard Pokeball just so that it's simpler. Okay, this function. This function gets called only when you attempt to catch something. In fact, I even named the symbol catch attempt. Okay? And a lot of this function is very big and very complicated, but it's actually pretty easy if you get it by section. I noticed at the beginning it was gathering a lot of data, so I'm going to say it's just gathering data. Here, here, here. It gathers data about there's some data about the Pokemon itself, some about the trainer. I'm going to get back to this later. Let's see. It gets the data, which Pokeball you used, and everything. Okay, so it's just gathering data for the formula that is going to be performed later. Okay, here it just seems to, and it does this twice. It seems to test for a flag that in normal circumstances seems to always be on. The circumstances it will be off is when the hurt gauge is already 0, which I don't think is ever going to happen when you're catching one. Or in the data of the Pokemon itself, there isn't an index to get the catch rate, because the way this works, let me show what on the enemy side it looks like. Okay, so this is the thing I'm trying to catch here. You can see Laffy, that's his name, the trainer name, okay. You see all of its data. And at some point, which I think it's this one here, this 6. This is not the catch rate. This is an index to obtain it in the game. And it seems to be obtained somewhere else with a bunch of pointers, and basically it seems that they are regrouped into the Pokemon that has the same catch rate, and they have the same number, so they resolve to the same catch rate. Okay, so back to my flag thing, it seems to always be off when this or this is it's 0, which is never going to happen. At least I don't think it's going to happen. I'm not sure on this, but whatever. And also, I tested what happens if you put the flag off. It seems to still compute the catch rate using the species ID. So whatever species, in this case it's a Fluffy, and this is the first 2 byte here. So it always seems to compute it relating to this. Okay. So, here... Okay, this is where I think this is the interesting part. Yeah, R30 here, so whatever this function outputs, or this one head here, depending on the flag, whatever. At this point here, let me make sure that I'm not... Okay, at this point here, this will hold the catch rate. For example, in a Slugma, I saw it was 190, which matches what it is in Gentry Handel. However, I know it's not really trusted because I tried the Entei catch rate and it was 15. However, when I checked on Cerebi for the catch rate of Entei, in Gentry Handel, it said 3. So there's quite a huge difference. So I wouldn't rely on saying they're the same as Gentry handle because I found one that at least that was different. Now, I don't know yet the catch rate of everyone, but I do know of a way to get it. You just attempt to catch it, put a breakpoint here, and whatever this number will hold will be your catch rate. So it's going to be a bit complicated to actually retrieve them because I don't want to run through a table of. It seems to be complicated how it gets it, so I just want to. I get it right here. So this will take some time, but there's some that I do know. Like I said, Slugma is 190. The one here, I think it's 120. I'm not sure, but I think it's 120. But whatever. And Ente is 15. And I know someone else, but I'm going to go back later because it's pretty special case. Okay, so we have the catch rate. Now here, this is just a big switch statement. If you don't know what it is, it will select the part that whatever applies to a certain thing. In this case, it's just the Pokeball effect, which I'm going to skip entirely this part because all it's doing is, and let me just get to after it. 1 second, I lost myself. Here, yes. Okay, so they are absolutely the same as Gentry except for the Safari Ball. The Safari Ball, the multiplier is 1.0 instead of 1.5. That's the only difference I found. And I tested all the balls that I could find in the game. Okay. This is just a Master Ball test. If it was a Master Ball, all it does is it forces the capture to be right. You can see here the get rent here, that's when it does the RNG. So it just skips all of it and it says, yay, you captured the thing. Okay. I need to go back. I get lost myself quite often when I go through this switch statement. Okay, here. This is a special case. I'm going to go over it later, but this is... I need to explain it later because it's quite different. Here, it just... Yeah, okay. This is where all the math happens. And I'm going to say it. It's basically the same as Gentry. The formula is absolutely the same. Like it does the multiplication with HP right here, then stuff. This just... Okay, this is where it just gets the status. It seems to be the same as Gentry. The only thing that I'm quite concerned about is it checks for, instead of 3 status that seems to be the multiplier is 1.5, there's 4 status it checks. I don't know what the 4th one is. It might be confused or something else that I'm not aware of. I haven't really checked it. But it seems that whatever in Gentry rules applies here. So it's basically, I have the thing near me, so Asleep or Frozen 2.0 and the other interesting status is 1.5. Otherwise it does absolutely nothing. Okay. So this scatter also the status thing. Let me see. Oh yeah, this is the thing. Let me just see because I seem to be lost. Oh yeah, that's the 250. Okay, it goes here, right? Okay, it goes here. Okay, so after it gathered all the status, apply the multiplier. This will hold your... In this formula, it's called X. Okay, so it will be hold X. So, like in Gentry, if it's 255 or higher, which doesn't seem to be able to go higher, I'm not sure, but it doesn't seem to be able to go higher. But if it is, it's the same as the previous thing that happened. it says the capture was successful and skip the entire RNG test. Okay. So here. Okay, so after this is the second part of the formula. So it takes a constant divided by x, and this just square roots the thing twice in a row. So it's the fourth root again, exactly like Gen 3. And then, what is it again? I have the thing hidden. Okay, it divides a constant with whatever this square root to square root result was, and that actually gives you the final y. So now the RNG test can begin, which I do here by going here. Okay, this will run. It will generate 4 RNG, and to pass the RNG test, it has to be strictly less than your y for each time it generates one. So if it's equal or higher, it failed the test. And after 4 times, it will get out of the loop. Because if it runs 4 times without failing the test, then you successfully captured it. Otherwise, this is weird. Because if you get 2 or 3 numbers, okay, if you get 0, if the first test fails, is what I should say. If the first test fails, you're going to get 1 shake, but the text is going to say something like, "Oh, it broke free of the ball," or something like that. If you fail after the second test, you're going to get 1 shake still, but the text will say, "Oh no, it looked like it was securely snagged," or something like that. Like, the text is different, but you're still going to get 1 shake. After the if you fail after the third test, you get 2 shakes. After the fourth test, you get 3 shakes. And of course, after that, you got it. So, yeah. And obviously, the text changes between them, but I just find it silly that 1 shake can either mean no test passed or 1 test passed, which is pretty weird. Okay, so after this, well, this is done. The rest of the function is just it's just some animation management, like just to see. In this case, I got it. You can see it's 4. 4 means that it ran all the 4 tests and it passed. And all it does is it doesn't do anything interesting. It just plays the animation. But by this point, the game already determined which will be, as you saw previously, right before the text "West to a snack ball" disappears. Sorry, right before this text disappears is when the game knows you have 1 test pass, 3, you got it, whatever. This is where it knows it. So this just plays the animation. Like, I already know here I'm going to get it. Like, it's just not that interesting. Like, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to get it. Well, okay, it's the actual management is done in a function after this. So like here, no, it's done somewhere. Here, okay, and the rest is just, it's not really interesting. Like, it doesn't do much. And after this BLR, right here, it's going to return back to the battle and everything. Okay. So far, haven't been stuff that are really surprising. However, everything that I said is true except on 1 cases, which I prepared in a save state. 1 second. Here. This is the first shadow encounter you get. And I want to point your attention to this number here.